Hello and welcome to the Video Spotlight series. I'm your host, Graham Triggs, and joining me today is Dustin Cragen, who is our expert on all things rev cycle. Thanks so much for being here today, Dustin.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So analytics is something that we've been focusing a lot on lately. Why is that such a hot topic right now?
Yeah, so anytime providers can get data, they're going to want to get their hands on it. And as it pertains to rev cycle, this has historically been an area where it's fraught with a lot of manual processes as well as disparate data sources. And so being able to pull all of that together into one meaningful source of truth has always been a really deep challenge for rev cycle leaders.
And what prompted us to do a report on this specifically?
Yeah, so these vendors are providing a large measure of relief to providers. So they're able to come in and, as I mentioned, they're stringing together all of this data so that they can bring it together at the right place at the right time to give rev cycle leaders like deeper insight into the wellness of claims and to the revenue cycle, as well as really identifying bottlenecks that are causing these challenges in rev cycle.
Why are vendors like VisiQuate so important to providers?
Yeah, the reality is if providers can't collect the cash that that the clinicians have driven, then those providers are simply going to go out of business. And so that challenge it's really month after month of collecting that money to keep the lights on is always a tremendous stress.
What are their customers saying about them? Give us the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, you bet. So, this one's quite easy. VisiQuate shows very, very well. Their customers are very pleased with them. Some of the quick highlights is we had 100% of the folks that we talked to fell into this either really highly satisfied or the satisfied category, which says a lot about them. Another 100%, of course, said that they would buy them again. And so there was just this really strong feeling and attachment to VisiQuate and the tools that they're delivering.
Those are really impressive scores. Were there any key challenges that people did mention about them?
Yeah, there was really just one, and in fairness to any vendor in this space, really, I think it has more to do with the setup of rev cycle. That has to do with really the implementation of the services. Providers are all over the board with their systems and their people and their processes. And so really, if you kind of think of it as putting together puzzle pieces, all of those puzzle pieces are totally different. So making sure that you take the time to figure out what is the right puzzle piece so that you have full integration and full workflow is always really, really critical. And so I think if there's anything in this particular category, it would be just making sure that the implementation and the homework associated with that is done well ahead of time.
Bottom line, what's the most important thing or finding that came out of the report?
I think the most important thing that came out is really there's relief. There's relief for providers that if they're really looking for one source of truth, actionable items to help drive their rev cycle forward, there are vendors that are doing this and they're doing it very well.
That's great insight. Thanks for joining us today, Dustin. And thank you for watching. We encourage you to go to our website, classresearch.com, where you can actually check out this spotlight. And if you know of any emerging, innovative, or disruptive vendors in the industry, not just in revenue cycle, but any areas of healthcare IT, please send those referrals to etech@classresearch.com. Really appreciate again Dustin joining us today, and thanks again so much for watching.